the conditions that
We're
were
looking
approved.
at
Yes,
some
some
people
people have to.
I'll call the meeting of the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. The first item on our agenda is the voting meeting for petition Z250073. This hearing is a continuation of the October 2nd, 2025 hearing. Today's hearing date, time, and location were announced on the record at the last hearing date of October 2nd, 2025. Thereby, notice by publication, certified mail, and posting were not required for today's continuation. We had finished the testimony, but we did not have time in the day to do our voting meeting that day. So today we'll open the voting meeting. We have some proposed conditions. They are up on the screen.
Linnea, excuse me, but I wasn't here on the second. I have read the transcripts so that I can be at this one.
Okay,
So I thought.
that's good to
that.
put on the public record.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Ms. Donner wasn't here for that hearing, but she has read the transcript, so she is able to vote today. I'm gonna start when I haven't signed it. So the petitioner added condition 11 so that now they will be adding evergreen trees on the east side of the facility as well as what had been on the site plan. And then we also added item 10 so that members of the community within a 2-mile radius will have first opportunity to be a subscriber to the solar farm. If there's no objection on the part of the board, I won't read through these since you've all been given a copy and they're up on the screen unless there's an objection.
No objection. No objection.
No
Okay.
objection.
Are there any other proposed conditions?
Can I ask a question, Madam Chairman?
Certainly.
Was condition 10 also proposed by the applicant?
I don't know. I'll ask staff because
We conferred on the language to come up with a condition that was acceptable to the applicants.
Okay, thank you.
any other questions?
I move acceptance of the conditions as presented.
I'll second.
Been moved by Mr. Eldridge, second by Ms. Gardner to approve these conditions. Any discussion? And I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. The conditions are approved 7-0. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve this request.
I move to approve the request subject to the conditions.
Mary Donner seconds.
So it's been moved by Mr. Eldridge. This is a reclassification from the B1 Neighborhood Business District to the A1 Agricultural District and a conditional use permit to allow for a commercial solar energy facility, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
Yes, this is a 17-acre triangular parcel along 176 east of the city of Crystal Lake. It is in an area that has been very slowly developing with a mixture of uses along the corridor. It has had a long-time owner. As I recall from my research, there was a good deal of opposition to when it was rezoned from agriculture to business 17, 20 years ago, but the use has stayed the same for the entire time. The owner, who is, as I believe, the same owner who owned it at that time, had hoped to get commercial use for it by having it rezoned commercially, and that never happened for him. So it has stayed a cornfield in spite of being zoned for commercial use. As a general rule, I pretty much always support downzoning. I think that when the property can be rezoned to a less intense use, I think that's generally a good thing for the area it's in. And when the owner of the land wants to do that, it's something I very generally support. This parcel clearly isn't reaching its maximum use as a cornfield. Its maximum use is some use that is somewhat more intense than that. And of things that will produce much more money, frankly, I don't think there's anything that is less intense than a solar farm. They are not proposing battery storage, which does have an environmental aspect to it of concern. They are simply proposing a bunch of solar panels which are functionally inert. There will be a period of construction, it's true, but of right, as a commercial property, they can do far more intensive uses. Virtually any commercial use would have more construction, a longer period of construction, more construction workers, and far more people on the property and using the property if it became any kind of a commercial use. There will be a minimal amount of construction. At the end of that, a couple of people 4 or 5 times a year, mostly to look at the landscaping, unless there's some problem with the electrical generation, at which time repair people will come and most likely swap out a couple of solar panels. It's one of the least intensive. In fact, the number of people on the property will be fewer and more rarely than harvesting corn is, probably. It certainly won't be more intense in terms of people on it. I sympathize with those people who don't like the way a solar farm looks, but it simply is not a right of a person to mandate the view of property he doesn't own. It is, now, having said all of the foregoing, under the law, unless there is some violation of the state mandated and county approved restrictions, we are required to approve it, provided that it is zoned agricultural. So the only thing that some of the objectors were hanging their hat on is that we are not so mandated in terms of downzoning it, but the only reason they would give us for not downzoning it was that they didn't like a solar farm, which in my view is not a valid argument. For all of the foregoing reasons, I support the reclassification from the business to agriculture, and I must, and frankly am comfortable in supporting the conditional use for a solar farm.
So, or Ms. Gardner.
That 5 minutes there. I'm Mrs. Gardner, by the way. It's hard to top what Mr. Eldridge said. This is, well, I don't know if there's an ideal place for a solar farm, but this comes close to it. It does face 176, which passing traffic isn't gonna care all that much. The houses in the back have a nice thick tree line, which the petitioner is not touching. You're leaving those intact. and we'll maintain the ones on your property, plus adding more evergreens to further buffer the view. I applaud them for that. I think that's a real good step. I am in favor of this. I did go down McCabe Street to see how that looked, and there's a lot of trees and bushes, and there's a lot of screening already. I was hoping that more leaves had fallen off the trees so I could get a better view of, you know, what it would look like in the middle of winter, but we've had such a nice fall, they're still up there. So I just want to say that on top of what Mr. Eldridge said, I agree with the rezoning to A1. I remember the first hearing going to B3. It was very contentious. People did not want that. This is going to stay a farm. It's going to stay agriculture now for at least 35 years. And so I agree with this.
Mr. Cozen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. One constant that I've come to recognize is that land use is not immutable. That the McHenry County of 1840 is not the McHenry County of 2025. And the opportunity that has been presented to this jurisdiction and other jurisdictions is what I could casually refer to as a do-over. And in this do-over, though, it is not one without constraint and guidelines. And we are confronted with the guidelines that are set out in the State Public Act for the establishment of solar. But it should not be a surprise as what will occur should there be a second do-over in 35 years, because there is also on file and publicly available a decommissioning plan. And that decommissioning plan will be available to guide whatever that future is required at that time. And for those reasons and the documentation presented before us, I will be supporting this petition.
Mr. Schnabel.
I agree completely with everything that's been said, and especially appreciate Mr. Eldridge's allusions to what happened with this land previously decades ago. And I concur that it's the right thing to do at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Bedu.
Thank you. I find that the McHenry County Unified Development Ordinance 1620-010E has been satisfied based on the narrative conditions presented by petitioner. I also share Mr. Eldridge's perspective that downzoning is always better. I reviewed the transcript from the last hearing in preparation for this hearing, and we did do extensive questioning regarding setbacks, and downzoning in this case and doing a conditional use permit for solar offers significantly more benefits to the neighbors than leaving it B1 and putting in a gas station or a car dealership. As it relates to the conditional use permit, I find that the conditions in our UDO and the state law have been satisfied. I also appreciate the inclusion of additional conditions that were not explicitly required by the applicant, including the opportunity for residents to enroll in the project and increasing screening. So I am in substantial support of this project.
And I will just add that for the I'm sorry, Ms. Donner.
And I did read all of this yesterday, the day before. Now, I remember this. I remember the first time it came through, going into B1, and how contentious that was. I see from everything that I read yesterday and what I remember of having read all the stuff up to this before I wasn't here on the second, that I will be in support of this petition as amended. Although, since our regular conditions have been, there has been an amendment to them, can we read those two amendments?
We've already voted on them.
We've already, okay. I'm just only concerned that even though we voted on them someplace down the line, that there's going to be something that says that we didn't. But that's okay, I'm in favor of it, that's gonna be the way it's gonna be. I'm still coming down from 33,000 feet.
Okay. And the only thing I will add is in the comprehensive plan for 2030, this property is listed as office research industrial, and a solar farm would be in keeping with that as well as with agriculture districts. So I think it makes the land use plan as well as everything else that's been stated, so I'm in favor of the request. So I will call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, so this will go to the county board with a 7-0 vote approving the request. So we'll take a little break and then we'll start the second petition for today.
That's not spray.
Whatever it is. And until I saw, because it has has the screen and show you can see how far you are on the flight and shows you the world, and all of a sudden, holy crap, Costa Rica, in Chicago. I'm surprised. Yeah, but it's, and you are equator, you are there, and it
Please, just in case.
For those of us teaching, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really. Did it. Okay, the second item on our agenda is application Z25-0083. The applicant is Arena Topaz Solar LLC. This is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a commercial solar energy facility. There's one PIN number associated with this request. It is 1415-400-003. The property consists of roughly 80 acres and is located on the south side of Gracie Road, approximately 1/4 of a mile east of the intersection of Gracie Road and South Illinois Route 31, with a common address of 4219 West Gracie Road, McKinley, Illinois, in Nunda Township. I'll have the zoning board members introduce themselves and the township in which they reside, starting on my left.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Mary Donner, Greenwood Township.
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond.
Linnea Brewster, Alden Township.
Vicki Gardner, Nunda Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
Just Beverly, Door Township.
This petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's scheduled hearing. Publisher's certificate of publication from the newspaper is dated October 18, 2025, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. Affidavit of posting was signed and date posted was October 20, 2025, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. Affidavit of mailing was signed and the date mailed was October 17, 2025, and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The survey has been checked against the petition, legal notice, and publication in the newspaper, and all three match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation has been received. The McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. For further information, I would refer to NRI 25077478. So how the hearing is, it's a quasi-judicial hearing. Rules of testimony apply. Anyone who's going to be speaking or asking questions will be required to be under oath. The petitioner will present their case. They'll be asked questions by the board. Then any member of the public can ask questions of the petitioner regarding their testimony. You'll have 3 minutes to do that. After that's finished, then we'll take testimony from the staff. They'll give us their report, and then if any member of the public has a comment on this petition, they're allowed to do so. So at this time, anyone who would be speaking during this hearing, I will swear you in if you'd raise your right hand. You're not speaking? Okay. Do you affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. I will turn it over to the petitioner. Please identify yourself and your position with the company, and go ahead with your presentation.
Hello, I'm Sean Hickey. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Illinois, and I'll be presenting on behalf of Arena Renewables for Arena Topaz Solar. I've been working on these types of projects all over the state of Illinois, permitted over 50 in various jurisdictions all over the state personally, and I'm excited to present this to you guys today. So we're here to hear about Arena Topaz Solar. And we're going to start with a company intro, project overview, community benefits, talk about the decommissioning, pollinator-friendly vegetation, and a brief summary. So the Arena Renewables team, Patricia here is a part of that team, and she's here to represent the kind of larger team that is led by an executive team from Cypress Creek, Nexamp, other developers who have nearly 3 decades of experience in the renewable energy industry. They have 90 projects in development all over the country. And they really try to make a positive local impact by working with the community to make sure that the impacts are as minimal as possible for these types of projects. So we're here to talk about Arena Topz Solar. It is a 2 megawatt facility, solar only, no battery energy storage, on a site that already actually has a special use permit associated with it. There's a New Leaf project in the blue hatched area that you can see on the site plans that I previously handed out. I noticed that some of you have large printouts of a site plan. I want to point out that we have the screening here was added. I'm not sure if it was there the whole time, but maybe it was a misprint. But we do have complete screening around all view sheds around the project from the road to the north. Low impact, we have no tree clearing, we have minimal impacts to wetlands, no floodplains are present on the site, and the site control will be via a lease. Some of the benefits of this project are tax, energy savings, and environmental. The taxes will be are based on the kind of Illinois IRS methodology, and it'll be about $360,000 over the life of the project. There will be about $150,000 worth of sales tax incentive or revenue as a result of the construction of the project, and it won't be a high intensive use. Mr. Eldridge kind of showed me that you guys have seen a lot of these in the past, so you know how they work. Just a brief construction period, but after that, there's not going to be a ton of people out there, very few actually. So there won't be strain on McHenry County services as associated with this project. Locals will have access to the 10% discount because this is a community scale solar project. Over the life of the project, they'll be able to save about $1.3 million worth of costs on energy. That's a 10% discount applied over the course of the project. And then it'll produce, enough energy to offset 4.5 million pounds of coal burned, 460,000 gallons of gasoline consumed, and 10.4 million miles driven by cars. And it is equivalent to about 4,100 acres of forests and carbon sequestered. These are taken from the actual EPA gas equivalency calculator, so the US EPA. Mr. Eldridge, or I believe it was Mr. Cozen, who talked about the decommissioning. We have filed a decommissioning plan that is in compliance with the Agricultural Impact Mitigation Agreement and McHenry County zoning ordinances. So that plan has methods of how to remove the panels, remove concrete pads, pull the racking and posts and fence, disassemble the wiring and conduit inverters, excavate the access road, disc the land. You remove down to 5 feet. I don't think that piles will need to go much deeper than that, but you are required to remove piles down to 5 feet below the surface. And then they will reseed the disturbed areas. We will also do a decommissioning bond and file it at the time of the building permit application. So just a little bit about this. Again, you guys seem like you've seen a lot of these before, but the vegetative seed mix underneath will be pollinator friendly. That will be good for bees, butterflies, birds, create habitat for animals that may use some of the cropland, but this will give them much more habitat. And it also provides topsoil recharge. When they go through their growth and death cycles throughout the years, they will be able to add, I think it's about 1.5 inches more topsoil back to the land that has been farmed over the course of time. It will reduce, these are just some more of the benefits. It'll resist climate conditions, provide natural habitat, benefit to local agriculture, provide weed resistance, I believe we filed a vegetative management plan that will make sure that this land is actually doing what we are saying it's going to be doing. I know that sometimes there are not great stewards of the land who just kind of put it out there and hope it grows. We have a plan in place that has the first 3 years to get it established, 5 years to get full maturity, and then periodic check-ins along the way. These are just a couple of pictures that we use to demonstrate what a kind of turf grass versus the native grasses on the right. The native grasses are much more aesthetically pleasing and much more functional than turf grass in actually reducing sediment runoff and reducing runoff in general. The pre versus post analysis using civil engineering accepted methods shows that more water stays on site in these conditions. And actually I took a look at the natural resource inventory report. The southern side of the site is in a sensitive aquifer recharge zone. Our area is not within that zone, but the aquifer recharge, this will be a net benefit because water is not running off to the same degree that it would as row crop. Thank you for your consideration for this project. We are happy to hear your thoughts on the project and now to answer any questions.
Can you go back one slide?
Yes.
Can you tell me where that location is on the right? I mean, it's beautiful.
I cannot. It is one of our many used photos. Yeah. So this is, it's somewhere in Illinois downstate, I believe.
Okay, we'll start with questions on my right. Ms. Beckle.
Thank you. Did you receive the letter from the environmental defenders in McHenry County about the wetland issue on the site plan? Can you go back to the site plan slide? So we've had a lot of these and we're starting to get more into the weeds on wetlands and woodland impacts. In this case, just to make it explicit for the record, these are farmed wetlands currently. They have a low FIQ. You've done the delineation study.
Yes.
And according to the staff memo from the Water Resources Division, you're prepared to do different seed mixes on the wetlands to improve their quality versus the more savanna soils.
Correct. We'll have landscape architects in-house at Kimley Horn put together specific seed mixes for the different areas. So within the panel areas, there will be one seed mix. Within these wetlands, there will be another one based on the soil conditions. And then kind of any disturbed area outside will have a third seed mix. And that is developed based on the many different things. I'm not a landscape architect, so, but it has to do with soil conditions, types of soils, moisture conditions, those kinds of things.
Does Arena Solar also own the new leaf solar that's below this project? No,
they're two separate leases. So that's why that's completely hatched out, and this red area is actually an access easement. There will be a road that goes down here in the proposed conditions.
Okay, just to be clear, because we've had other hearings where the landowner did one and then said, hey, actually, let's do another one with the same developer. Is that a non-participating residence? Are the setbacks further back from that home, or is that the current homeowner, landowner for this property?
I think it's the current homeowner landowner, and we have they did not waive their setback requirements, so you can see on your site plans, we adhere to keeping outside of that 150.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all I have.
Mr. Schnabel.
Your plan is very straightforward and not very controversial in any way that I can see. I just have one question. Your point of connection's on Gracie Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about leaf solar? Is there, I don't have the plan in front of me.
There's, as I said, we'll be in this red area, and I'm noticing now that we have some trees in here. We'll make sure that those are coordinated with New Leaf and we aren't blocking any of their access, but this easement here is from New Leaf, so their interconnection point will be here and ours will be.
I see. And you already have your agreement, right?
Yes.
Do you know if Leaf has an agreement yet? Just curious.
I am not sure.
It's not really material, but that's really all that I was curious about. Thank you.
So from your site plan, it looks like you're only planning on using the front half of this lot. The whole back half is going to remain as is.
Well, that's the New Leaf site, so that kind of depends on whether they plan to exercise their special use permit or not.
I know, I have a new leaf site plan and I was trying to put them together, I couldn't do it, so.
We had a licensed surveyor send us these limits and delineate them based on these bounds, so we are staying outside of their side of the sandbox, so to speak.
So the trees that are on the site, you're leaving alone, you're not taking any trees down?
Not touching any trees.
Okay, I'm done, thank you.
Yes. Is this a tracking system or a fixed system?
It's a tracker.
Bifacial?
Yes.
And the inverters and the transformer all will be at the south end of the site
Yes.
where the pad is shown?
Yep, tucked
Gravel
away.
driveway and the concrete pad?
Yep, tucked away to the south, as far away from the landowner's home as possible.
Yeah. All right, that's all I had.
Mr. Honor, and there's no storage, battery storage on the property. I'm fine, thank you. Mr. Cozen?
Thank you. The quantity of inverters, or number that will be,
There should be only one if it's a central inverter, or 14 if it's string inverters.
and then the attractive photos, the left one, that's the bifacial panels that you have.
Yes, so they would, this is a fixed tilt system off to the side. We were just primarily trying to demonstrate the seed mix. This side is a bifacial system, it appears, but these are photos that we use in most presentations, so these are not specific to the
But
project.
the motor array is similar to what you have for C401 illustration
Yes.
that you handed out. And then using that, so the time to travel, presuming if using that, that means that what we would be seeing at a flat stage would be noon.
Yes.
And then moving to a sunset would be back as the reverse of what it would be in the morning, but at no point greater than 9 feet. Is that correct? How long does the usual travel time between sunrise and sunset or last productive usage?
So the system will be hooked up to sort of an almanac. So obviously you have different, we just entered daylight savings, right? So we have much shorter days. So it's not gonna do that and follow the sun. It's following it at a different pace depending on the day of the year. So it's hooked up to a system that has a calculator on it that makes sure that it turns right before the sun rises, follows at the rate at which the sun crosses the sky, whether that's June 21st or December 21st.
But the time array of that travel generally?
It would be probably, I don't have my almanac with me, but on June 21st, it would be probably 17 hours it would take, and then when you have only, 8-9 hours of sunlight, it would be about that.
So a different visible appearance going to work for a driver, noticing it versus the driver coming back, if you
Yes.
will. And then on the same sheet, C41, sheet 4, you have a common illustration of the gate. I presume that's where the signage would go
Correct.
for that?
Yeah, the signage and also the emergency information.
And then you would have the proverbial Knox box or something. And this is monitored 24/7, is that correct?
Correct.
Last man, I have no further questions.
My only question is, do you also do community partnerships with not-for-profits like some of the other companies do? Providing donations to not-for-profits?
Yes, Arena has, yes.
And so you'll be doing that on this project as well?
Yeah, Arena, sorry, consultant. I gotta talk to my attorney. So yes, we would be open to that.
And are you the owner or just the developer of this?
Developer.
Just the developer, okay. Does staff have any questions?
Just a couple of questions. So the site plan that we had previously received was dated September 15th. The one that you just provided is November 4th, and I'm trying to figure out what the difference is. Do you know what's changed since
Yes.
that?
So you may be looking at the older set that's just missing about 8 trees right here in this tiny little zone.
Because I'm seeing it on here. I just want to make sure because the conditions that we were referencing have the date of the September site plan, but I do want to just switch it out to the November one.
Yes, because we want to make sure that these trees are accounted for. We added those to make sure that the screening was complete.
Okay. And then my other question is just, so Gracie Road is a Village of Prairie Grove road jurisdiction. Have you had any discussions with them on having a third access point on the property, or do you know if that would be a concern?
We usually go down that road with a road use agreement, but we have floated the idea of potentially asking New Leaf if we could use theirs if that conversation were to be.
All right, that's all I have.
Good catch.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a question for the petitioner? Okay, at this time we'll take testimony from Ms. Charlotte. Okay.
Okay, so the subject property is zoned A1C with the conditional use for the New Leaf Solar project that we had just discussed. It is mostly surrounded by the Village of Prairie Grove jurisdiction, with the exception of to the southeast is another solar farm that has been granted by the county board. They actually just applied for their building permit for that project this week, so that one will be soon developed. And actually, the other one on this subject property is very close to getting their building permit as well. So both of those will be probably under construction about the same time. So. The current land use of the subject property is agricultural and single-family residential, and then all surrounding property is currently used for agriculture. The future land use designation of the subject property is residential. I did include, just so that you could see the outline of, this is Gracie Solar 1, which is the New Leaf project, so that you can see where their access is proposed to come in and their array there to the south. This is the site plan that we had. I see vegetation there, but maybe it does slightly differ from what we saw today, but we'll use the November site plan.
It looks like maybe I was looking at an old site plan.
Okay.
So this
Yes,
this
and we'll use the
appears to be-
November date when we do the conditions, just to make sure that we're clear on that. The signage was posted. I don't believe there were any concerns with sight lines, anything like that out there. It's pretty flat. I believe that all of the state and county standards have been met.
Does anyone have questions?
Yes. Have we heard from Prairie Grove on this one?
We have not.
Okay. The other A1C that's next to this, is it the same landowner or a different landowner?
Different landowner.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Kim, have we had different plant mixes for different types of soils?
I know that we've seen different seed mixes for, outside of the array versus inside, but I'm not sure when it comes to the soil specifically. That would be something our water resources specialist would probably be more aware of.
So I can answer that. I talked to Scott this week because the report said, call Scott if you have questions, and that was my question.
You've got to be under oath if you're going to get testimony.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's in the water resources staff memo.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Great, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Okay, anyone want to make a statement? So do you want to make a closing statement?
Sure. Thank you for your consideration today, and yeah, appreciate your time.
Okay, at this time, we will close the hearing portion of this meeting and we'll move on to the voting portion. And this is Arena Topaz Solar LLC, a conditional use permit to allow for a commercial solar energy facility. The proposed conditions are up there. The only change will be in number 2.
Do we need a formal amendment to number 2?
Probably, just so it's on the
Okay, I
record.
move amending number 2 to the date of November 4th, 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. So that amendment is approved 7-0. At this time, I would ask for a vote to approve the conditions.
I move approval of the conditions subject to the amendment as amended.
Second by Ms. Gardner. Are there any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. So the conditions are approved 7-0. At this time, I would take a motion for the request for the conditional use
I move
permit.
approval of the petition subject to the conditions as amended.
I'll second. Mary Donner.
Second by Ms. Donner.
Leave it.
Okay, discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
Yes, this is a 2 megawatt, which compared to what we've been hearing lately is at the smaller end of community solar along Gracie Road on a parcel that already has an approved community solar facility at the other end of the parcel and right next to another property that has a solar array approved previously by the county that, according to staff, is about to get its permit. It is an area, it has on the parcel a single-family home, but given that it is almost, well, it has a good bit of prairie grove around it, it's a very rural part of that part of the county with really agriculture and at this point virtually no homes really close to it. In my view, meets all of the standards, both state and county, which requires us to vote in favor of it. But this is an easy one as far as I'm concerned because it seems like a very good place to put another one. So we're combining them together when nobody much is around except the landowner who is leasing his own land for that purpose. And anyone who in the future might develop a nearby property will do so with the knowledge that this is in place. So while they may well complain, they have no rational basis to complain. So for all of the foregoing, including a little bit of silliness on my part, I support the petition.
Ms. Gardner.
I agree with Mr. Eldridge. I actually live really close to this site. I'm just down 31 a little bit, close enough where I could hear the Luke Bryan concert from my yard. It was great. I think this is a really good spot for solar farms. There is really nothing there. It's kind of a very agricultural area tucked in between Crystal Lake and McHenry. And that at some point in time in the future will get swallowed up by progress. And since there's going to be a few solar farms there, I feel pretty comfortable that we're going to retain some of our good farmland there. So I'm in favor.
Mr. Cozen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The only element I'd like to add, which was supportive of my underlying vote on this, is that the applicant treated this with the same seriousness and quality of presentation as if it was a highly contentious site. leaving the public record sufficient that we can adequately, or at least I can in my vote, support this application. Thank you for that.
Mr. Schnabel.
I'm in complete agreement with everything that's been said.
Ms. Beverly.
I'm also in complete agreement. I'd like to just kind of highlight for the benefit of whomever listens to this hearing that like the landowner asked to do this and has their home there and is not concerned about the devaluation of their home. This future land use designation was for residential, but the property owners have been able to exercise their right as property owners and choose to do solar. I think it's important that as we look at these applications, we take that into account. I'm in support.
Ms. Donner.
I'm in support.
And I believe the standards in our ordinance and also the state standards for the solar farm have been met, so I'm also in favor of the request. So I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Posen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Aye.
And I'll vote yes, so this will go to the county board, the 7-0 vote approving the request.
What date is that? What date is that?
December 16th.
Is there anyone who wants to give public comment? Okay, then at this time, our hearing is closed.
Okay.
Even 45 minutes.
Yes, this is yours, right?